So I'm looking to rebuild my bench press back to my best ever, which was 161. And I want to try and beat that for my next powerlifting competition next year. So I've got plenty of time to kind of do some of the groundwork now to really work on some of the weak points on my bench press. Okay, so once you've worked out where you're weak in the bench press, you're going to want to put that exercise probably as your second tier exercise. So that's going to be your second exercise after your competition bench. So as an example, because at the moment I feel I can really get more out of my lockout, I'm going to be putting close grip bench press after my competition bench press. So my first superset of the day has been some bent over rows build into a heavy 3 bench press. So I managed to hit 125 kilos today. So all the way up to build into a heavy 3, I was doing 3 bent over rows off of the bench at whatever weight I was bench pressing. So it meant by the time I got to my top set of 125 kilos, I was doing 125 kilos bent over rows from the bench also. So next up is then going to be my next tricep. So it's going to be 3 exercises back to back. And I'm going to still be sticking with a row. So I'm going to be doing some dumbbell rows now, but I'm going to be pairing that with some close grip bench press. And I'm going to be pairing that with some side bends. So as you can see, what I've done, I've then taken my weak point of my bench press and I've put it as my second tier exercise. So I've gone my first bench press and then I'm going to go into my close grip bench press. So my last tricep is going to have some weighted dips in there because I really want to work on that lockout strength as well through a different plane. And also by doing some dips, I'm getting extra stress through that length and range of your pec and your shoulders, because when you're doing the bench press, obviously you've only got as low as the bar getting to your chest. So by doing something like dips, you get to take your shoulders and pecs to an even deeper range and really work that lengthened position. So enough talking, let's get into the next tricep and I'll catch you in a minute to discuss more about some performance points for the exercises. Now, just to go back to the accessory pieces for building a bigger bench. Now, as I mentioned, because I'm looking to get stronger at the lockout, that's where I feel I'm a little bit weak at the moment. I'm going to be focusing on that close grip bench press and probably some weighted dips for the first cycle. So my cycle is going to be around 12 weeks. And through those 12 weeks, I'm going to periodize and progress the loading on those 2 exercises, and then at the end of the 12 weeks, test the bench press and kind of see where am I weak. Hopefully that lockout strength has improved, and kind of go from there. So just like any exercise, first 3 weeks, I'm going to be going for sets of 8 on both of the exercises. Then in the second 3 weeks, I'll be going down to 6s. Then I'll be going down to 4s in the third 3 weeks. And then in the last 3 weeks, I'll be going down to 2s. So just like any exercise, if you're trying to improve the strength, so your 1RM, you want to kind of keep your accessories quite close to the actual task you're trying to improve upon. So doing sets of 8 is going to be great for building like tricep strength, tricep volume, building bigger triceps. But if you're looking at actually building your lockout strength, you're going to want to be doing some more strength-based rep ranges, so closer to what you normally would on your competition bench. Now, as I said, I'm using 8s at the moment, mainly so that I can kind of build some good volume, kind of grease the groove of my close grip bench press again. And then once that's feeling good, I'll be then dropping the reps and increasing the load and so forth over the next 12 weeks. Now, you don't have to just use these 2 exercises, for instance, for improving your lockout strength. You could also do exercises like, say, a floor press. A floor press is a really good exercise at building some strength in that lockout position, especially coming from that dead stop on the floor to big drive off. You could also do things like, say, a block press where you lower the bar down to a block on your chest and then focus on the lockout. So you're shortening that range of motion, but still getting that heavy load on the lockout. So if, for instance, you're weak off your chest, you might want to include exercises like, say, a pause bench press, or even like a tempo bench press, one where you can control that negative on the way down, pause on your chest again, and then press out from there. It will mean your loading will be less, but you'll be greasing the groove of how to maintain tension all the way down to your chest and then drive from that dead stop position. And if you struggle to control the way down with a load, and you, for instance, you get to the bottom position and you feel you lose all tension in your lats, doing those two exercises are also great exercises to help you improve strength in your bench press. And and if you struggle, for instance, to maintain tension in your pecs and your lats as you lower the bar down, two exercises that I really like as more of like an accessory piece for quite higher reps, say like 6+ reps, is the Spoto press, where you're going to lower the bar down, pause about 1 inch of your chest and then press out. That's a really nice way of getting a big bit of tension into those lats and those pecs and then driving out from there. And I also like the feet up bench press and the Larsen press. So it's basically the same thing. Feet up bench press, you can put your feet on the bench. The Larsen press is generally your legs are out straight. So that again is going to have a massive increase in the stability demand because you've not got your feet to plant into the ground to create that extra stability. So you start to learn how to create a lot more stability through the shoulder girdle without the feet as your, essentially like your stabilizers. Now enough chatting, time to get into my dips and finish off this upper body session. Okay, so as a summary of today's session and kind of what takeaways you guys can take to make sure you can start to improve your bench press strength. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm focusing on improving my lockout strength in the bench press. So I'm going to be using over the next 12 weeks close grip bench press and weighted dips. They're going to be my preferred exercises for helping me with my lockout strength. Now, what I want from this video is for you guys to kind of have some actionable exercises to take away that are going to help you specifically for your weak point in your bench press, and then how you should maybe program them over a 12-week cycle to make sure that by the end of the 12 weeks, you've been working on a specific part that needs work, and that when you get to the bench press test at the end, you will be a hell of a lot stronger. So as a bit of a recap, let's think about those 3 positions that you may potentially be weak at. So you got weak on the lockout of the bench press, you got weak in the bottom position of your bench press, and you're maybe really unstable when you're trying to do the bench press itself. So the exercises that I'd recommend for those 3 weak points are, if you're looking at improving your lockout strength, you could do things like close grip bench press, weighted dips, floor presses, or even block presses. If you're looking at improving your strength at the bottom position, I would definitely recommend some pause bench press or tempo bench press. And then lastly, if you're looking at improving stability through the movement, the exercise that I'd recommend there would be the tempo bench press again, because again, you're learning how to lower that bar down under control. I'd also recommend the feet up bench press or the Larsen press. And then lastly, the Spoto press. So if you want to kind of follow a strength progression like what I'm going to be doing, over a 12-week cycle, I'm going to be doing some rotating percentages. So I'm going to be doing on the competition bench, heavy 5, heavy 3, heavy 1, heavy 5, 3, 1, heavy 5, 3, 1, heavy 5, 3, 1. That's my 12-week cycle there. Then on my accessories, I'm going to be going in the first 3-week block. I'm going to go for sets of 8. The second 3-week block, I'm going to be going for sets of 6. The third 3-week block, I'm going to be going for sets of 4. And the last 3 weeks, I'm going to be going for sets of 2 on my chosen exercises. So as I've already mentioned, my chosen exercises are the close grip bench press and the weighted dips. So all the exercises I've kind of mentioned so far earlier, you could do follow the same progressions over a 12-week cycle to improve your strength. Now, the reason for the descending reps is because ideally the loading will then be increasing every week. And what that's doing is improving the specificity of your accessories. Because at the end of the day, we want to get stronger at that 1 rep max. So what we want is our accessories to building up to that same sort of stress. Because at the end of the day, it's all well and good doing sets of 8, but yeah, we might be building more muscle or maybe more stress through the triceps. But the skill of doing a heavy single or double is a whole different kettle of fish. So what we want to do is make sure our accessory pieces are becoming very specific to our competition bench. So hopefully today's video has given you a really good insight in how you can improve your bench press strength. What I'll do is I'll put in the description box down below the accessories and the reps that I'd recommend, so you've got a really easy go-to resource that you can take a screenshot of and then implement into your training. Now, I hope this video really helps you with your bench press strength. And I'd love to hear in the comment section down below if it did help you with your bench press, or maybe do you use a different exercise to improve your bench? I'd love to hear it down there. Let's have a conversation and go from there. As always, thanks a lot for watching. I really do appreciate you. And if you do like videos like this, don't forget to leave the video a like, because it will give me a little insight into what you want to watch and what kind of content you'd like to see. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next week.